Welcome back to the Preparedness channel. In today's video, we're talking about 5 things that you need to be stocking up on right now. Now, why are we focusing on stocking up? We have record high inflation rates, and it's not just us here in the US, it's Canada, it's the UK, it's Lebanon, it's all these different places are getting record high inflation rates. Number 2, we do have the Russian-Ukraine conflict going on, and that is creating a lot of mass hysteria around gas prices. So between those two things, high inflation rates and high gas prices, you need to be stocking up right now. So let's talk about the first thing that you should be stocking up on, and that is fuel. Some experts are claiming by this summer we could see gas at $5 a gallon, $6 a gallon, $7 a gallon, even $8 a gallon. That is expensive. That is a lot of money. So if you have the room, if you have the space available to you, go ahead and buy some of this gas now. Because yes, it's expensive, but if it gets up to $7 a gallon, $8 a gallon, this $2.69, $3 a gallon will seem like very cheap fuel. So if you have the means, go ahead and buy some of those 5-gallon jugs, buy some 5-gallon jerry cans, and go ahead and put some extra gas back. The second thing you need to be stocking up on really resorts back to the first, and it's food. Fresh, frozen, and canned meats especially. You look at the inflation rates that we have today, and meat products are some of the highest hit with the inflation. So if you can afford it, go ahead and stock up on canned meats. Go ahead and stock up on frozen meats. Have those meats in your freezer, saving them from a rainy day. Let's say that the price of gas doubles. Instead of $3.69, it becomes $6, $7, $8 a gallon. The farmer is going to take a huge hit, right? Because he has to buy the feed. Well, now the feed comes on a truck, and that truck takes fuel, and that fuel is more expensive. Then, when the farmer decides it's time to slaughter, he has to take it to the processing plant. He has to spend his gas, his diesel, to take it there. Now the people at the processing plant need to ship it to the store, which means if gas prices double, it's going to cost them more. And that $3 per pound of hamburger is going to start looking like the $40 and $50 steaks that we're seeing now. Steak is going to go up to $100 per steak. Who knows? Hamburger meat could go up to $15, $20, $30 a pound. So go ahead, if you have the room, if you have the money, if you have the space, and stock up on meat and meat products. Canned meats last almost forever. Spam has a half-life, not a shelf life. Pick up some of that. The canned hams, the Bristol canned hams, the Dak canned hams are a great option for an easy supper. The third thing you need to be stocking up on is frozen and canned vegetables and fruits. Same thing with the meat, same thing with the fuel. If the price of fuel goes up, it's going to cost the farmer more. If the price of fuel goes up, it's going to cost the shipper more. Everything costs more because of rising fuel cost. So you need to start stocking up on your canned and frozen vegetables and fruits. If you can grow your garden and have that in your backyard, therefore you don't have to go buy it. And that will save you a ton of money. So the number 4 thing that you need to be stocking up on is animal feed. You might be asking yourself, why animal feed? We saw this in 2008, and we saw this in 2020. People lost their jobs. What do people do when they lose their jobs? They go home and they sit. They get bored. So what do? They go and find a hobby. Many people adopted animal rescue dogs during 2020. So now more people have pets. Therefore, more people are going to be buying pet food. In 2020, more people were worried about where their next meal was coming from. So what did? They went out and they bought livestock. They were buying chickens. They were buying ducks, turkeys, pigs, cows. Why? Because that gave them a source of food. Now, I don't know how many of those people still have those animals. I don't know how many of those people still have those small little farms. But if it's anywhere near the amount of people that bought them in 2020, chances are feed is going to be hard to find. Now, if the prices for feeds on dogs, cats, livestock go up, you have to make the decision. Do you want to keep Fido in the backyard? Or would it be more beneficial to you and your family to get rid of the dog? What about the chickens? What about the ducks? What about the pig? If they're not producing, it's costing you money. And how much are you willing to spend to get a few eggs? How much are you willing to spend to get 100 pounds of bacon? The question, I don't know. I don't know what your budget is, but I can tell you right now, go ahead and stock up on that stuff, and that gives you that little bit of a gap. That way, in case a feed does get to $50 a bag, you have a little bit of time to spare before you have to make your decision. So the fifth thing that you need to be stocking up on is cash in hand. There was something that happened the day that Russia invaded the Ukraine, and that was that their local banks, both in Russia and the Ukraine, had a bank run. People were going to the ATMs and pulling out as much money as physically possible. Many of their ATMs ran out of money, ran out of cash, because people were emptying their savings to have it in their hand. They wanted that cash on hand versus some little card, because cash in hand is always better than a card. You never know the situation that's going to happen when it comes to a war. Whether that be a cyber attack, whether that be a massive power outage, whether that be a missile hit a substation, who knows? You don't want to risk it. So people were going out and buying cash. Now, as of this video, we, the United States, is not currently at war with Russia, so why do you need cash on hand? Because you never know where this thing's going to go. It is always a smart idea to have money available to you, cash in hand available to you, just in case there's a power outage, just in case you get caught up in a storm, just in case your debit card doesn't work or your credit card doesn't work, you can still buy the things that you are going to buy. And yes, that war is across the world, and right now it's not affecting us except for in the gas prices. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't have some sort of cyber attack. That doesn't mean that Russia couldn't pull a Hail Mary and start launching EMPs. In 2021, we were hit with a cyber attack that affected the pipelines. Therefore, my state, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, we ran out of gas, or we're getting close to running out of gas, and that was a 3-day event. We were also hit with a cyber attack on the meat industry. There was a processing plant that was hit with the cyber attack, and that shut down the meat processing for like 2 weeks. Now, there were many other cyber attacks in 2021, and you could say that, hey, those were just testing the waters. They were just seeing how far that they could get. They were seeing how far that they could go. Those same cyber criminals that were hacking into pipelines and meat processing plants and water treatment plants could launch a massive cyber attack on the U.S. power grid. It's not that far-fetched. Now, I'm not saying go out here and empty your 401k and have $50,000 in cash on hand. It'd be smart, but let your 401k do what it does so you can retire in 50 years. However, do have a couple $100, maybe even $1,000, maybe even a couple grand cash in hand in different nominations. Have some 10s, have some 20s, have some 50s, have some 100s, because it will come in handy. So those are the 5 items that you need to be stocking up on now. Is there anything else that you guys would add to the list? How do you think this war with Russia is going to end, and will the U.S. get involved? As of right now, I'm still correct in saying that we have not been involved. So guys, that's all I've got for today's video. Again, anything else, add it below. Hope y'all have a great day. T2 out.